You are actually in stereo now, which is nice.
Yeah. I didn't realize that the other night when I was doing it on Facebook. I could hear, everything in
Right.
stereo, but I can't hear what's coming out the other end. So the guy that helped me get this straightened out in the first place helped me get this mono problem stereo situated too. So we're good to go.
Okay, cool. I'm getting ready to pull up some information about Troll 2 so we can talk about it, and I have it here with me.
Yeah, Wikipedia. I have the Wikipedia page pulled up on my phone, but I took like a page, 2 pages worth of notes of things that it doesn't have to be in depth, but things that I just want to make sure are mentioned, things that got things
Yes.
my favorite parts of the movie. So
No. That's great. I mean, it's just the two of us.
oh, we can drag this out. We'll make the mark because, like I said, there's too much to love about this movie, and I didn't even write down everything, and I still wound up with 2 pages of shit that I love. So
Okay, man. I am let me get my water bottle. What do you think about all of us using these water bottles from Hydro Flask? Kim bought this for me for Christmas, and I thought if we're all using these, maybe we can get some kind of sponsorship from them
you
after we
would
use them for a
think.
couple episodes and just say, and write to them and say, hey, you know what? We do this long form podcast. We need
Yeah.
to keep hydrated. Hydro Flask, it's as metal as we are. You know?
So I was on another podcast last, I think it was Tuesday. It's the Metal Roundtable, and one of their followers has an engraving company and made them all like custom uh, water bottles. Essentially, I think they might be tumblers, so coffee or double
Right.
walled type thing.
Yeah.
But it's got their logo on the front, and
Cool.
then he did a different design for each person, put their name on it.
Nice.
But yeah, I don't know. Endorsements are rough, in terms of sponsorships and things. I know
Yeah.
that personally speaking. we
Mhm.
did the we tried to get a Keystone Light endorsement back in the Vindicator
Hmm.
days. And there was a Keystone Light shirt like at Old Navy or something. And we bought every member a shirt and took band pics in the shirts, drinking the beer. And I mean, it was the beer that we bought and drank pretty regularly. And we were just, nah, you couldn't get, just like the video, man, couldn't even get a no out of them. They just don't fucking care. So,
That's too bad.
because we tried to get Paps too, man, because DK and Diamonds, man, Diamonds had a Jägermeister sponsorship and a
Wow.
Pabst sponsorship,
Ooh.
and they would both deliver like pallets of alcohol to them wherever they wanted, man. They would get pallets. So they got one of those Jägermeister shop machines, and
Wow.
they used to get pallets of like Pabst pints. Canada's different beast though. They respect artists up there. No one fucking cares down here. It's like a cover band can get sponsorship from distributors and shit, but original acts can't. So that's what it is, because you're not dealing with the company themselves, you're dealing with distributors, which sucks. That's a
So you
harder
need to
a
get in
harder
cahoots
sell.
with the distributor.
That's what we were doing.
Right.
So our local distributor, I can't remember the name of them, but we got a hold of them, and they were like, oh, so and so who handles that's on vacation, and apparently they never came back from vacation.
Yeah.
So it was one of those things. So whatever,
That's too bad.
it is what it is.
Yeah.
We did have an emergency sponsorship, so that was pretty cool.
What was that? Like emergency, like the cold medicine?
Yeah, like the fizzy, put it in your drink, vitamin supplement. Diamonds had one, and they were like, yeah, you just email them and send them your tour itinerary. Man, they sent us a case. They sent us probably 25 boxes of emergency and like 2 pounds of unboxed emergency, just in loose packets. And that was fantastic. That's absolutely essential for when you're on the road, because you're eating
Oh.
like dollar cheeseburgers and drinking shit every night. So it's, you
Yeah,
wake up
not
and you have one of
sleeping
those.
and sleeping in the
Yeah.
van or whatever, right?
Yeah, it was very, very helpful. And
Wow.
we had boxes of those forever after that, but they don't do it anymore because word got out that they were doing that kind of stuff, and too many people getting a hold of them. We lucked out and got a few free cases of emergency, but we wouldn't be able to get them now. So again, you got to maintain that shit.
Well, let's tear into some Troll 2. You ready?
Yeah, let's do it.
Hey everybody, this is Justin from Sorcerer.
And Christian.
and you guys are listening to and watching
Heavy metal.
I am Montag, master of illusion. What goes up must come down, but not always.
No, my arm's not on that side. See, I got to get used to this. I'm Wildcard, doing Wildcard things with my hands that aren't on the screen.
Where's your other hand? Hands up, man.
Yeah, see, it's over here. I'm not used to the backwards thing either. Sorry.
Are you doing backward stuff?
Yeah, it's backwards to me. I feel like on my
to you.
phone. Yeah, I feel like on my phone it wasn't.
Well, this is backwards because, yeah, I'm getting a
Yeah,
mirror
see?
image of me. I'm lifting my right arm.
Maybe it was like
Are
that
you
on
seeing
the
my
phone.
right arm or are you seeing my left arm?
Ooh, see,
I'm just
this
looking
is
at it's
real,
like this is like looking into a mirror.
This is real Montag stuff. I don't
Right.
know. I don't know what I see right now. Master of Illusion.
When I lift up my arm, which one goes up, which one goes down? But not always. Ah. Well, kiddies, we're running a tight crew tonight. Just that. You know, we don't want to drink all this in. That's right. Yeah. Yeah, I shaved, you know.
That can change a lot.
Yeah. Looking much better now. So, but you got a studio though. I like the new studio. I like the lighting.
Yeah.
It looks very TCM2. I'm waiting for Chop Top to Leatherface to break through the wall or something like that.
Yeah. I put a smidge of thought into how I
Mhm.
wanted to present this for future interviews, podcasts, and such. So
Yeah, you got this ghastly pallor about you. The blue light makes you look kind
yeah, I
of
like
dead.
that. I like
You know?
I like the lighting especially. I'm glad this was like my second or third attempt at lighting in terms with what the setup that I have, and I think it turned out pretty good.
Yeah, you look like a little bit there. You look like the comic book character Lobo. Do you know that? Do you know that character?
Yeah, he's blue.
Yeah,
Got
he's
long
white.
hair.
He's white, but he's got the
Oh, is
long
he
hair.
white?
You fragging bastard.
Is he white?
Yeah,
I thought
yeah.
he was
He's
blue.
he's like
Is he a DC guy? He's a
yeah.
DC guy, right?
Yeah, I think he
Yeah,
came in during like the Legion of Superheroes, and then he got kind of really popular in the '90s, where he
Yeah.
was like everywhere. And he was on books, and he's a great character, totally fun. But with this blue light in your hair, kind of looking the way you do, yeah, all you got to do is say "fraggin' bastich," and I think you're in.
And don't ever compare me to a DC comic character ever again.
But Lobo's kick-ass though. He's great.
I know he's pretty good.
He's
one of
fun.
the-
Yeah.
If I got to talk about DC people, he's one of the better ones.
Yeah. So you're not a DC guy. You're more of a Marvel guy.
No, I'm a Marvel guy.
Okay.
Guy. I mean, sorry, I got my Thanos shelf.
This hydro
If you
flask
can-
really keeps my throat quenched and me hydrated
moist.
during our long form podcast. Hydro flask.
I mean,
it's as metal as we are.
website. Drop the website. What's the website?
I don't know.
Hydroflask.com.
I don't know. I have no idea. I've never looked.
This is a good cut your teeth on promoting
Right.
an item.
Yeah. I say, look, you hear the sound of my voice, how sexy it is. I've got a great
That's
voice.
what you do.
And
That's
part
what you
of
do.
it's
So,
because it's hydro
yeah.
flask.
So first you talk and you sound real shitty, sound real
Yeah,
awful. Like
I'll just have
and
like
then
sound clip from Dreadpool, and then this is before drinking
Yeah, and then
hydro
you-
flask,
and
then
then
I'll
you
kick
take a
in with
sip
my
out of it.
sexy
Yeah.
voice. I'm like, Dreadpool, I drink. Hey, this is
Yeah.
Montag.
I love it. I think that's genius. I love it.
Yeah, why not? I mean, I don't think maybe this will get out in the ether and they'll see us talking about hydro flask because Kim got these for us for Christmas. She wanted me to stop drinking out of this.
I mean, the jug's kind of, I don't know. I mean, I understand like the flask looks much nicer, but
It's
dude,
nice.
that's a gimmick. Like that guy's always drinking out of his jug. I think for the shows, you should be drinking out of that jug.
I do it for just two reasons. One, I don't want to wash a fucking dish. Okay. And that's like the main reason. But no, I guess there are 3. So that's 1. 2,
Yeah.
it allows me to, because I have to flush my kidneys out because my damn kidney
Right.
stones. So I can see how much water I've had in the course of the
Right.
day. And 3, I don't have to worry about refills.
Right. That's
You
a
know?
trifecta right there.
I
That is
know
the
you don't have to get up.
trifecta.
You're just like, look, I don't want to drink. Hey, Hydro Flask. This is a delicious. It keeps my water cold, or my beverages
does do
warm or
that.
cold. It's insulated.
Yeah.
But it's
Slip-proof
24 ounces,
surface.
and it's a great. I'm gonna look at the color. It's gorgeous.
Yeah, the color is fantastic.
Yeah, I love orange. It's just so great. And but this is what I'm supposed to be drinking today.
I
almost
really
a full
think that
gallon.
you got to keep that for the shows.
I like
really
the
do.
jug,
I mean,
man. It's just like it's just become part of the thing. It's like
yeah.
I'm just drinking out of a jug. Fuck glasses. Who needs a glass? Unless you have a Hydro Flask.
Right, exactly. A buddy of mine showed me a video. The guy, I don't know, he called him like ASMR or something, but this
Sure.
this
Where
you know
they
that
make
guy?
clicking noises. Well, their ASMR is a huge thing where you like click on
Oh no,
glasses.
so this guy. Okay, that's what that is. All right, so
that's a
it's
type.
a
It's a
thing.
genre.
It's a
It's a
type.
thing.
Well, this guy,
Yeah.
his deal is like he whispers and he
Yeah.
just talks. He eats
Yep.
food and he talks about his day. You
Yeah.
ever seen that guy?
There are 1,000 guys like that. ASMR is a hugely popular
Yeah,
thing.
his channel's like got 1 million viewers or
Yeah.
something. And I thought that was his thing, but no, I guess it's a specific.
No, it's
your
a thing.
jug.
My jug
Your
can
jug
be my
is-
ASMR thing.
It's your gimmick. I thought it was a
Yeah.
gimmick. I didn't realize it was a thing.
Oh, it's
My
no,
bad.
It's a practical thing, but hey, I knew when I see it online, like, fuck, I don't care. I'm drinking out of a jug. That's fine.
Yeah. No,
Um,
it's beautiful. You gotta have a thing. You gotta have a gimmick, man. Like that's
Yeah.
your gimmick.
Well, the ASMR thing, yeah, some people do the whispering thing. Some people do role playing, like they're playing like a nurse or doctor or a barber, and they're doing like asking you how your day is going, and it's like pampering and treatments. Like sometimes they whisper stuff to help you fall asleep, and
Yeah, that's what I thought it was.
And
some
then
kind of
sometimes
sleep
they
thing.
make like noises, like let's make the most annoying noise in the world, and like look at this. This is a jug. I'm like, fuck.
Yeah, they're
Yeah.
Jim Carrey from Dumb and Dumber.
Yeah, well, they're trying not to be annoying, but they're like, listen, for people who have these, they call them triggers, and like, listen
Yeah,
to
no,
the
I got it.
crackling. Oh, what's that? Ooh, ASMR. Like, I don't want that fucking popping in my ear. Just open the damn bag and get it over with. So,
Yeah.
and then there's a whole other thing where it's like sexy AMR, which is
Ooh.
what I would do. Hey,
Right.
girl,
Hey.
would you like to feel moist?
Moisten your day with Hydro Flask.
Would you like me to hydrate you?
Moisten your day with
Hydro
Hydro Flask. Yeah, I love it. Love it.
Mm-hmm.
And if they're not using the catchphrase "moisten your day," like, well, I think that's gonna get us a sponsorship right there.
Moisten DM, like Carpe Diem, right? Or Carpe Moist, seize the moisture, right?
Yeah, seize the moisture. Oh, that's even better.
I love
Trademark,
moisten
seize
your
the
day,
moisture.
though. That's great. Seize them. I thought the idea was like it's as metal as we are. We're Heavy Metal Horror podcast.
Yeah, I mean that's an obvious though.
Right. That's that's good.
Seize the moisture, moisten your day.
Carpe moisture. I don't know what Latin for moisture would be.
Moisture.
Moisture. Yeah, just add N to the add A.
Yeah, that's how you do it. Latin. I think.
Yeah, it's like
pretty sure that's Latin.
Pig Latin. Oyster may.
Oh, yeah.
You say that moisture may. I speak another language.
Look at
that. Oh man.
Goodness, where's the time gone?
I know. Well, hey, this has been Montag. Oh,
yeah.
Yeah. We didn't even talk about Troll 2. So
what an episode.
Yeah, this is a great episode. Right. This is great. Well, hey, yeah, tonight's episode, kiddies. We're Wildcard and I got together. Apparently everyone else was unable to join us this evening in Heavy Metal Horror. But hey, there's enough metal here, enough horror here to carry it. So moisture your day with Heavy Metal Horror. Tonight
Prepare to get wet.
Prepare to get wet. We are talking about Troll 2, 1990 horror film. Right.
I got to cover.
Nice.
I got the double feature.
Ooh, what double feature?
Because I also love Troll.
See, I've never seen Troll.
Oh, you're missing a great Sonny Bono role there.
Oh, Was he in Troll?
Yeah, it actually has to do with trolls. So,
Okay.
you know, but we're
is
not
it
doing a show on Troll. We're doing a show on
no
Troll
Troll 2? Because I remember there's this other great podcast that I'm not sure if you've heard of. It's called Unsane Radio, and
Ooh, do tell.
yes, Unsane Radio, pop and pop culture. It's you can find it. I think it's at unsaneradio.com. You
That
can
sounds familiar.
yeah, you can listen to full episodes there. You can download to your device. It's amazing. Um,
Is that how
so
technology works?
yeah, I guess so. But
Fantastic.
there's these hosts on there, and one of them is named Dr. Head, and I say he's got a pretty sexy voice, if I have to
He
say.
must use Hydro Flask.
I think so. If he does it, then he should certainly should write a prescription for himself for that. Not that you need a prescription to get Hydro Flask, but yeah, we did a it's Hydro. I want to make sure I get the sponsor name right. Hydro.
Well, you're from Ohio, so you can
Flask.
kind of.
Right.
can-
It all blends. It's all vowels. It's all vowels down here. Yeah, so we did an episode on this a few months back, and I was
Okay.
the first question I asked, like, do I need to see Troll to understand Trolls 2 or Troll 2?
Right.
And they said no. And I watched the movie, and then I watched the documentary. Like, was it the best
Yeah,
worst movie ever made?
I didn't get that far in my homework. I was gonna rewatch it.
Oh, yeah.
But I kind of remember most of the stuff we'll talk about today, they probably went over in the doc. Obviously I think that this will be more lighthearted than super
Yeah.
in depth because
But it's not us talking about the stuff. That's the difference. That's why
Right,
people are
right,
paying the
right.
big money wild card. They're coming to see us and listen to
Yeah.
us. You know, and they come to see me drinking out of a jug and eating
Yeah.
pumpkin seeds or whatever, you know, and
Yeah.
they, they come for the goods.
Yeah, this is the experience.
Right.
This is the
Right. Why else
experience.
wouldn't they? Why else wouldn't they be here? Or, you know,
Right.
come on, what else they have to do? You know, it's Troll 2. It's two sexy guys and a Hydro Flask.
And
Um,
two guys in a Hydro Flask.
that's the the
Hydro Flask. sorry.
Hydro Flask.
Hydro Flask.
Hydro, not Hydra. Hail Hydro.
So I don't know.
Flask.
I don't know if you knew this, but you know that Troll and Troll 2 are absolutely separate films, but the
I do.
American distribution company, it was originally titled Goblins, and
Right.
so the American distribution company wanted to kind of piggyback on Troll. I can't say the success of Troll. I don't think it was very successful, but I guess it kind of makes it
It's
more
a movie that exists.
identifiable. Yeah, so
And you
could,
put
it's your-
two in front of it, it's intriguing to people like, oh, I
right.
missed that first
So-
one. This must be so good that they made another
right
one.
that they made a sequel, right?
I gotta see them
I don't know-
both now.
Now, I don't know if you're familiar, but there is an unofficial sequel, which is similar in the sense that, or to make a trilogy, also has nothing to do with Trolls, and I don't think it has anything to do with Goblins. Now, I've not actually watched it. I own it. I got it. I finally tracked a copy down in one of those sets that have like 5, B horror films on it,
Yeah.
kind of thing, or 10 or something like that. It's called Contamination, or no, Contamination
Oh.
0 or Contamination
Oh, okay.
something point something. It's also called Crawlers. That's the one most people know it by.
Crawlers.
Crawlers, aka Troll 3.
Wow. That I wasn't
it's-
aware of. And I love the
Yeah,
fact, I mean,
so-
first of all, let's just say, I love the fact that none of these movies have anything to do with trolls.
Anything to do. I honestly, to chime in, and this has nothing to do with, with again, much like Troll 2 has nothing to do with Troll. This is why I like Halloween 3. I thought that, I feel like and I don't know anything, I'm not super horror literate, but I liked the concept of the first 2 movies being the same. And then
Right.
Halloween 3 was a different, and I felt like Halloween 4 would have been like a sequel to Halloween 3. This is just coming from a kind of loose, I liked that idea. So I like the fact that these films don't have anything to do with each other. In today's world, they could have tied them together as being part in the same universe.
Possibly.
I would love to
right.
see a Troll 4 that encompasses all these separate films into one.
Wow.
Trolls, goblins, and whatever the fuck's in Crawlers. I don't know.
Trolls, goblins, and crawlers. Oh my.
Yeah.
Yeah. Follow the Nilbog Road, right? That's
Right.
awesome. Well, first, let's not cut you short on your savantness. You are the super savant.
Not in horror.
Not in horror, but that's okay. You know, we're gonna work on that. But you knew more about the unofficial sequel, you know, the Trolls 3 kind of thing, the Crawlers, which I've never seen Crawlers. If that's what it's really called. I've seen one kind of something like that.
Yeah,
Um,
it's got like 3 names. Like I said, AKA Troll 3. It was known as Troll 3. I don't know if it was ever marketed as Troll 3. It's called Crawlers, but it's also called Contamination
Okay, because
Numbers, some kind of.
there's one something like Crawlers that deals with these people in a pub, and there's just like monsters outside.
I
try
mean,
to
it could
get
be
them.
that I honestly have no
But
idea. I own
no,
it, and I
that's a
still
lot of
haven't
completely
busted it
different
out.
monster, you know. But that's something we need to
Right.
watch. We need to watch that. You know that, right? You know we
Oh,
need
absolutely.
to do a
I
watch party, right?
yeah, absolutely,
Okay.
absolutely.
Yeah, because if we've never seen it, I've never seen it. We got to bring in Chop Top, and we got to bring in Bloodletter, because
Right.
she's a horror fan, and we got to watch that together, man. I will host the party. We will
Yeah.
watch it, and then we will do an episode on that.
Fair
like,
enough. Yeah.
immediately. So we're all there.
Yeah, I
in
like the
that moment.
freshness of the of that concept. Absolutely.
Yeah, yeah. Well, let's talk about Troll 2. People have been chomping at the bits as much as they love hearing about Hydro Flask and its
Yeah.
ability to hydrate. I think they want to know a little bit more about Troll 2, because if they haven't seen Troll 2, they need to go see Troll 2 because they are in
Yeah.
for a fucking treat. That's for
Yeah.
sure.
Troll 2 is one of my favorite films, and the way that I took my notes on this, you know, whole legal doc page and notes. The way that I took my notes was I just took them chronologically. As the film happened, I jotted down stuff. This is just stuff that I think is funny mostly that I
Yeah.
want to talk about. One of the reasons that I love the film is I think the film has a certain charm. I'm not going to talk massive shit about the movie. I think that the practical effects aren't bad, all things considered. There's some cheesy elements. Some of the masks are
some of the masks are pretty
a
bad.
little goofy, but I think that, like, you know,
the tree effect, where, you know,
I think the tree effect was cool. I think that the some of the makeup was pretty good.
Yeah.
I like the chlorophyll blood or
right,
sweat.
the dissolving people.
But
you know?
what makes this film magic is that these folks genuinely believed that this was their stepping stone to greater things. And I don't mean that as an insult. There's a difference in B films that you're watching where people know they're in a B movie and don't give a fuck. And these people are genuinely doing their best, and there's an authenticity there. Doesn't make you feel bad for them. It makes the film more comical in most cases. I will say that I think that forgive me, I can't remember her name. Deb Reed is a fantastic character.
That character was
I think
Credence Lenore.
Yeah,
good. She hands down wins my vote of like best performance,
best character in the film.
movie.
Yeah,
yes,
and honestly,
it is so over the top.
It's glorious.
It is. It's fantastic. She was throwing 100% in there. I would love to get her on the show. Maybe when we get George Hardy on. Deborah Reed, if you're out there, come on the show. We'd love to talk to you about your
it would be
performance in Troll
fantastic.
2.
And what's sad is, like, honestly, and again, I'm not trying to talk poorly about the other actors and actresses, but of all the people that should have went on to do bigger things, it should have been her. According to her IMDb, she didn't really do much else.
Okay.
Which is a shame, because there was some goods there to work with. I think her character, I think her acting was, it was over the top, but it was terrific. And I think that was a very pliable, you know, media there. Like, she was something that could have done something.
Yeah, she was.
I think
great.
all the pieces parts were there for a fantastic actress. And
she was
kind
great.
of a bummer that she didn't go to do other things.
And there's this kind of thing where she kind of gives off this. I know this is going to sound awful, probably, and maybe I'll have to cut all this out, because you know we don't want to
talking about Hydro
we
Flask.
don't we don't want to offend anybody, God forbid. But her performance is kind of reminds me of this kind of like really like naughty, sexy librarian kind of thing,
right?
Yeah, over the top. It's like
there's an allure there, right?
And the love scene is like
So I've got that on my notes. Absolutely want to get there.
I'm like, okay, this comes out of like left field, but like it is fucking brilliant. I wish I had done something like that in one of my movies,
right?
You know, and that's great because I like you, I applaud anyone who tries to make a film, and sometimes it's just shit from the get-go, and they're
Right.
not taking it seriously, and not everything can be executed properly. I mean, and I've
Right.
never taken a big budget. I mean, the most expensive film I did was my very first one, and that was like,
Right.
or was it the second one, Sorority Sisters versus Sasquatch,
Okay.
and that was like $180, but
Right.
100 of that went to getting the Sasquatch costume,
Right.
and then the rest was spent in fake blood, some knee socks for the Sorority Sisters, and a bag of lollipops.
Right. Yeah.
And so I totally get it. The idea of just having fun and being silly, and that's all we did. We weren't trying to like be
Right.
movers and shakers, but still, even in that, people who were coming in who'd never been in a movie, they actually gave really good performances, especially in my third one,
Right.
Quest for
Right.
Uranus. They
Right.
really were like really trying, and I
Well, you
was
gotta
like,
have fun and you gotta try.
yeah,
Like there's a
right,
there's a fine line there, like there's a fine line between I don't really give a shit that I'm here
yeah,
versus I'm gonna do my best and I'm gonna have fun. I think
right.
that's
That's the golden thing. We can have a good time.
right.
You do a really good performance, and it brought a lot out of me as a director, like saying, okay, try it this way or that way, or
Right.
but yeah, so no, I'm totally with you on that.
Yeah. Now my
And
second favorite character is Don Packard's shopkeep, the drugstore owner.
yeah,
But Don Packard himself, if I remember correctly, is legitimately like certifiable. I'm pretty sure they do interview him in the documentary, and he's a little loose.
I think they uncovered the fact that he had at one time struggled with some mental health issues,
Yeah,
and so
it definitely translates in the film. And when you find that out, it's a little more uncomfortable seeing his character, but it's fantastic. That character. That's like I told you, I wrote a song
yes,
about that guy. I love that. That's my all-time favorite scene in that film is the drugstore scene. I don't want to jump
okay,
ahead because, like I said, I got all
right.
these
Oh no,
scenes.
no, that's great.
We got to start right at the top and just
Sure,
Grandpa Seth telling the story to
right.
Joshua. His ghost.
Yeah,
And one of the
right.
things that I
It's
love
like
was
straight out of King Diamond. You're talking
right.
to dead,
Yeah,
Grandpa,
Grandpa
what are
Seth.
the
He said.
trolls?
He's talking about Peter, and he says, Peter notices shadows that seem to be giggling. They weren't fucking giggling, they were growling. There was no
Right.
giggles to be had. Where was the translation there? I mean, I know that there was communication breakdowns in directing and stuff because of the Italian
director
crew
and the crew,
and
right.
yeah, and so maybe it was something on, but that kind of stuff sticks out to me, and I think it's funny to me.
Yeah.
But it also is one of those things where it's just like, why didn't they fix that? Why didn't they why didn't they just make it growling instead of giggling? Is giggling more creepy?
Yeah,
I don't
because
know.
that's
He calls them
Claudio
little
Fragrasso.
people of the night. Little people
Yeah.
of the night. Oh man,
People of the
it's not enough.
night.
Yeah,
Well,
that's clearly that's a song waiting to happen.
yeah, Claudio Fragrasso still is directing.
Really?
Yeah, he looked like he took a hiatus from doing stuff. Like from 2003 he did a TV movie called Blindati, and now he's
Oh,
a
they do
writer.
interview him, don't they?
And
They
oh
interview
yeah,
him in the
in the documentary,
so.
yeah. And so and but he's did this thing called Karate Man, which is in post-production now. He's a writer, so he's written all kinds of stuff, but as a director, yeah, he also did Karate Man too, and he's been directing actually more frequently. He did Italian horror stories. He's done a lot of TV stuff, but yeah, he was doing stuff before Zombie 3. He helped direct. That's interesting. Scalps, some other horror, Night Killer. So this guy does horror stuff. I mean, this is like his thing.
Right.
And so he came in there, and I know there were some problems with communication and with things not getting done, or
right.
And you'll see that in the documentary. There seems to be a lot of like this backpedaling going on, like, well, this is what we really intended, and and like whether you did or not, that is irrelevant, man. Just own it, embrace what you made, you know, and the fact that people love it as a cult film.
Right. It's doing
I
better.
mean, how many
than-
movies would kill to have a cult status?
Exactly.
like
and those
that?
people, everybody's still making money off of the fact that it was a bad movie.
Yeah.
You know, all the conventions and stuff. I mean, that people get paid for that stuff. So imagine doing something that was laughed off, and then all of a sudden 20 years later, people love it, and you're making some extra scratch off it. I don't know if they're making livings off that stuff, but convention appearances, I know they don't pay too shabby.
Yeah,
You
if they're getting there. You know, I'm not sure if
So,
they're
I
still
mean-
doing convention stuff or not. Yeah, give
So,
me a
I mean,
second.
right, yeah.
I'm overly hydrated. I gotta get some of it out. You keep on talking. I'm just gonna mute myself.
Wait, where's it going right now? Where's that hydration going? Oh my gosh. The hydration comes out the nose? You must be a goblin.
Nose bog.
Yeah. So I want to point out that and I learned something actually while I was doing a little bit of pre-show research. I love that main theme that plays throughout the movie. I love cheesy like songs that are
Yeah.
in like 80s films. Learned that there was actually a reissue of the soundtrack on cassette, vinyl, and CD, which I could have gotten 2017 for a reasonable price. You can't find them now, but this is a soundtrack I would love to have on vinyl. It's a great one. That, like I said, it's I think it's let's see.
Well, the music was done by. Let's see who did the music.
I just know that it was done on like, a classic 80s Roland, it's on all synth. I think
Arlo
soundtrack.
Maria Cordio.
And I think it's an
So-
all synth soundtrack, so which is a fantastic.
It could be 1990. Yeah, he also did work on. Oh, they have it as Terminator 2. It's shocking dark. He did 2020 Texas Gladiators, and which is that's that's pretty exciting. Yeah, he's done a lot of stuff. Sodom's Ghost, Touch of Death, Witchery, Zombie 5, Pieces in 1982. Ator
he
the
should-
Fighting
he
Eagle.
should. To be honest,
I've
that
seen some
soundtrack
of these
was-
movies. 2020
Yeah, that
Texas Gladiators.
soundtrack
I've
was
seen.
good.
Yeah. So I mean,
it wasn't bad by any means.
yeah, they're not bringing in some slouch,
right.
right, to come in.
I want to point out Grandpa Seth's smile after the boy, Josh says goblin. He says goblin. And so Grandpa Seth has this smile. He does it a couple times in the film. It's just awkward and out of place. I love that, man.
It was probably like B-roll, like, okay, now give me some reaction shots, because
Yeah, I mean that's it. Definitely had that feel. I love it. I
Right.
can't get over that.
that's one thing I forgot to do in my first movie, talking about B movies. A couple scenes I forgot to do like reaction shots. So I had these like dissolves and time slips,
Yeah,
which looks
yeah,
really
yeah.
like obvious, instead of just like, look, just take a minute, give me 10 reactions I can put in, and I'll
Right,
just splice them in.
right.
That would
Right.
have done a world of wonders. What a world of help.
I do like the Goblin Girl's fake ass freckles. I wrote down why they had to give her.
Oh, in the very
why they
beginning.
had to give her- yeah, in the very beginning in the story. I'm
Yes.
still in Grandpa Seth's story, and she
No,
comes
right,
up and she's
right.
got those really bad. Like, why not just leave her without freckles? Freckles are very appealing. The Goblin lady needs really
Yeah,
badly.
I don't know. And if you
drawn.
were gonna do them, why make her look like Raggedy Andy or Raggedy Ann? Like,
Yes.
they were just.
Yes.
I didn't. I don't remember noticing it the first time through, but the second time through, I'm like, oh, these are really, really drawn on, obviously badly.
They were they
and
were really poorly put
it
on there.
kind of reminded me of this trend now I see all over Instagram and TikTok, and where these girls are like doing their makeup weird, like makeup over their eyes, like red and pink and something. I think it's supposed to be some kind of like a Japanese thing. It just looks weird as shit, and it's ugly. I'm like, what the fuck are you doing, man? But they're all like doing this like really like this red area, and they're making goofy faces, like sticking their tongues out. I'm like, I don't get it, man. I know this is my get
Kids.
off my lawn moment, but
Kids these days.
yeah. What are you kids doing with the makeup and the tonguing and the thinging? Right. Get off my goblin.
Yeah.
Hydro flask.
Yeah. So, and then, Dad, Mr. Waits, I think it's Mr. Waits that says, he tells Josh, you got to banish Grandpa Seth from your mind. Like what a horrible thing to say to a kid who's mourning the loss of their dead grandparent. Like banish them from your mind. Get
Don't
them
think
out of there.
about your dead grandpa. Put
Yeah,
him out.
that's
Yeah.
get them out of there.
That's wrong. That's not
So one
good.
of the first most real awkward scenes in the film though is the exercise montage with the sister.
Right, because she was
Like,
like
what?
right, she's just working out, but this is 1990. I mean, you're still following in the the workout videos from the 80s, like Jane Fonda and all these. I mean, this was the leg warmers and spandex
Yes.
and things like that. Hey, that's still happening. And now they figure
mean,
this was released in 1990, which means they probably shot
Right.
it in like 1988 or
Right.
89. So we're at the end cusp of still having these kinds of looks. So you're saying it's uncomfortable because the girl is underage. She's like 16.
No, it's just an awkward, like the montage is awkward. Like,
oh, okay, awkwardly done.
it's just like what's going on here? And who the hell has like a bench press in their bedroom? Was that like just strewn somewhere? Like what you imagine getting up in the middle of the night and the lights are out and you fucking walk into your
toes
your
you're
bar.
gonna bash down at your toes.
Yeah, like that
broken.
just seemed like it would be in the basement maybe, but it was in
Right.
her bedroom.
Yeah.
So I don't know. That's
she
an
likes to keep in
scene.
shape.
Yeah, I mean, I don't. Hey, good for her with that real awkward outfit. What is it like the
It was
what
like a
do they call those?
spandex. Oh, like
What do they call those? There's a word for those, like leotard with the white
Leotard.
shirt underneath it. So that's what I like to exercise in.
Well, that was the hot look in the 80s.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. It was very 80s-esque. I get
Oh, totally.
that. I get
I mean, this film came out in
vibe,
1990, and it certainly has that feel. That's one thing I love.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Absolutely. I totally concur.
This is the movie you're gonna
is...
get in the video store when you see this on VHS. You're gonna like, oh fuck yeah, I'm gonna take this home.
Right.
Classic exactly.
VHS one.
Right, totally. You're gonna want to get some popcorn, get some pizza, and watch this with some friends.
So yeah, exactly. I like that also. In the next shortly, further in a couple minutes in after this exercise scene, I don't remember. I'm kind of blurring stuff together here, but she, the wife asks, the husband, Michael, what are goblins? Like what? I mean, come on, lady. We're
like you never heard of the term before, right?
Yeah. And she's very serious about it. Like she's trying to write this stuff off. Dad's trying to write the stuff off, and she's very like, what are? I mean, I know she didn't have the internet to jump on and do a quick.
You're talking about the mom, right?
Yeah, the wife.
Yeah, because she's also maybe she's just ignorant about a lot of things or doesn't really have any capacity for knowledge. Because remember what she asks in the car. Sing me that song I love, my favorite song.
Yes, that's on here. That's one of my favorite moments of the film. Right? That's one of my favorite moments of the film.
Are you fucking kidding me? That's the song you like? One of the most annoying songs in the world.
Couldn't remember that it was called "Row, Row, Row Your Boat."
Couldn't remember that the lyrics and the song are basically.
What's that song I like?
That song that says "Row, Row, Row Your Boat." What the fuck is that called?
So the dude creeps into the room after that moment. That's the boyfriend creeps into the room and and he's all being weird. But this is my and you may have to cut this, but I'm just saying. Okay, so they're driving in the car. They're driving in the car.
I love your notes, by the way.
Yeah, so
I mean, the fact that you wrote notes, you have come most prepared for this episode than any other episode that you've ever come to.
I like to be loose and kind of fire off the cuff, but this is an important one to me. So the daughter, they're driving in that Ford Astro van. Was that an Astro van? Is that what they were?
I don't know, man. It was something.
That hideous
Windstar, maybe.
Yeah, something like that. One of those kind of vans.
Some kind of cool van that probably Wesley Willis would write a song about.
Yeah. And the daughter says, the dad's harping on the daughter about that dude she's dating, that playboy Elliot. And he says something about him being her beau. And this line gets me so good. Elliot's not my beau, he's my boyfriend. Now, I don't know the term. Is the term beau? Does beau mean something?
I don't know. It could be a Southern thing. I think weren't they down at Georgia when they were shooting
still,
this?
like, doesn't that mean the exact same thing?
I always thought the implication was the same thing. Yeah.
So
but
yeah,
maybe
exactly.
maybe there's something we don't understand. To all of our listeners in the South, can you
Yeah,
educate
what's
us
a
on the
what's
difference
a
between beau
the hell's the difference between a
and
beau and a
boyfriend?
boyfriend?
Right. Yeah.
Then which segues into my favorite, and I've always translated as I always do, sing us a song, Joshua. She's real loud about it. She says, Joshua, sing that song that I like really loud, because she's trying to disrupt that fight between dad and daughter. Yep, and he's like, I don't want to, and then that's what he does. They get on with that really poor rendition of Row 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 Your Boat, by the way. Like,
Yeah.
it's really not a good one. Yeah,
That
that's the song
song,
they came up
I
with.
like.
So
I
they
was
roll
like,
into town,
I
man.
was
Oh, go
waiting
ahead.
to hear
Yeah,
like,
please elaborate
oh,
on.
I was waiting to hear like, something exciting, even like,
Okay, so
Ave, free, something. But
I mean, I
row,
get
row,
that
row
they
your boat.
probably
Oh,
they
okay.
couldn't, row row your boat.
Oh, that's public
Probably,
domain. They could have
yeah,
sang Happy
public
Birthday
domain.
too. That would have only song better would have been Happy Birthday. That
That would have been
song I
good.
like. We only hear it once a year. Well, 4
Yeah.
times a year because there's only 4 of us. Right. Come on.
So yeah, so
bust out that special song, you bastard.
yeah, I get that they weren't about to, sing, some popular song from the time,
Right.
but there has to be other public domain songs that
Yeah,
were
that's a
better
good
than Row 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 Your Boat.
yeah, wow, right.
They roll into this town like at noon. It's like noon. It's not even 5 o'clock. It's somewhere between noon and 4. You can tell by the
Yeah.
lighting.
Sure.
Nobody's in town. Dad
Right.
says, at this time of night, everybody goes to sleep because it's a farming town. Time
Right.
of night, motherfucker. It's the afternoon.
Unless they're like
It's like
mushroom
4 in
growers
the
and they have to go out at night and gather them.
yeah. It's like 4 in the afternoon, and that always struck me as like, dude,
Now,
what the hell?
what
It's
is
the
the name
middle
of
the
this town?
day.
That town that I love. What is its name? What's the name of this town?
Nilbog. Okay, so I just want
Nilbog.
to point out that you being also an Ohio resident, I wanted to point out that Nilbog is Kipton, Ohio.
Nice.
Like they roll up and like people are peeking out of windows and it's kind of
cool.
quiet but
I
creepy. That's
Yeah. I
don't
didn't
ever
know that.
stop and don't stop in Kipton,
Well, I know
man.
people. I know
That's
people
how it
who
is.
live in Kipton. I never got that vibe. I helped
I hope they're not goblins.
well, now I have to go back and see. Yeah, I helped.
Don't eat
We were
none of them
flipping a
snacks.
house. I helped flip a house there. So
Man, how strong are you?
pretty fucking strong, man. You know why? You know why I'm so strong?
Hydro Flask. You're wet.
I
Can't have muscles without moisture.
I am hydrated and strong because of Hydro Flask.
So this segues into probably my all-time favorite scene from the film because they do the family exchange thing and they go in there and there's like food to eat. They're famished from that stopping and talking to that hitchhiker that was clearly going to murder them
Yeah.
all because the kid thought it was Grandpa Seth, and they got this food and Grandpa Seth time freeze. The disembodied head of Grandpa Seth time freezes. You got 30 seconds to come up with something, kid. And the best thing the kid could come up with was pissing all over the food. And the face, that whole transaction, he gets up on the table, he says, "Welp," he says something like, "Welp, I've got no other option." And he looks real distraught, and zip comes down the pants. And I love the transition because the pants unzip, and the next scene is the dad, Michael carrying Josh up the stairs, like over his shoulder, carrying over and do you see these words? And it's just the names on the door. It's the names of the people on the door. It doesn't say shit about hospitality.
No,
it just is their name. You know what they mean? They mean hospitality, and you can't piss on hospitality. I won't allow it. You can't piss on hospitality. You're damn right, Michael.
That's
you
right.
Can't piss on hospitality.
I can't wait till George Hardy says that for a bumper on our show. I'm so
excited. Piss on hospitality.
You can't piss on hospitality, but you can watch and listen to heavy metal horror.
You can piss on heavy metal horror. That's what
we're into water sports.
That's right. Yeah. You can only piss if you drink from Hydro Flask.
When I first, yeah, we piss an awful lot. We got to stay hydrated. Here's the thing. What terrified me the very first time when he threw him on the bed, and then he starts like undoing his belt. I'm like, oh, fuck, he's going to piss on the kid. That's what I was thinking. Like,
Ah,
I'm going to show
was
you
the
about
night?
pissing.
I mean,
I'm going to show you about
you want to
pissing
piss on hospitality?
Watch this. I'm like, Jesus, no, don't pee on your kid. You know, I'm like, oh, fuck. Okay. Phew. All right.
Yeah, and
all
he
right.
says, and then I thought,
Then I
when
thought
I
maybe he's
saw it,
going to whip him, but then I whip him
I
with
thought
the
he was
belt.
going to get a spanking. I'm not
Sure.
familiar with the old spanking with the belt. And yeah, and he says, I got to tighten my belt one notch to fight the hunger pains.
Right.
The
Now,
hunger pains.
The hunger. Who the fuck goes on a road trip without bringing some food? You know,
Even back then, people packed
come
coolers
on,
with
man.
lunch meat and bread.
Yes,
And
you bring sandwiches, you bring all that stuff. You know, I mean, come on. You always bring food, and then when you get there, then you go to the grocery store and get more things. But you
Right.
don't pack empty. You don't drive empty. Come on, you don't drive angry, and you don't drive empty.
Right.
So there you go.
Yeah. So, yep. Also, though, for, the best way to combat, the best diet is really to just not eat and tighten your belt. So if you
Of
get
course.
hungry, just
Right.
tighten your belt.
Yeah.
It
Now, too
staves
bad
off.
that kid. And I'm just trying to think. I mean, that's a great scene, but I'm thinking like the first thing I would have thought of doing, even as the kid's like 10 years old or something, if to get them to not eat it would be like to knock it all over the floor.
Yeah, they're not going to eat it off the floor.
Just
So
clear
that
the
was like
table.
that's an
know?
extreme. That's an extreme like writing thing right there, and
Right.
it's. I guess it made it like it wouldn't have been as good if he knocked it on the floor.
No, the whole
wouldn't have
pissing
made
thing.
that.
No,
Yeah, that's just
the
so
line. You can't
so
piss on
extreme.
hospitality. I mean, come on, that is just. It's one of the many charms of this movie, I think.
Right.
Is the dialogue and the dialogue.
Correct.
In the
Correct.
story,
Yeah.
there are some great lines. I
Yep.
mean, look, this is a
It's special. It's
cheesy
special.
movie. It's schlock, but I don't mean that derogatorily. I love
Right.
schlock movies. I love B movies because that's what I made. I made I
Right.
had the thing when going to conventions and people talked about them. I'd say, if you like your movies with extra cheese, you come to the right place.
Right.
Because there is an exuberance to these schlocky movies that make
Correct.
them really enjoyable to watch. They could be horrible piles of shit, but they're enjoyable for so
Right.
many reasons. And you
Right,
can't
absolutely.
compare this to like Avengers Endgame or something. It's
Right.
like
Yeah,
they're not-
there's no
it's like,
budget.
there's no budget.
The
They're
budget
not even
difference is
trying.
way exactly. Plus, I mean,
because
again, the practical effects weren't horrendous.
no, there are plenty of good effects there. And remember, I mean, so much of the stuff I watched in the 80s was straight to VHS. We're talking
Mhm.
like Chopping Mall,
Right.
which was just basically a version of the Short Circuit, because that was really popular. But we're just going to turn Short
Right.
Circuit into a murdering robot, and show some boobs. Hey, we got a movie. I mean,
Right.
it's a horrible movie, but that it was great for its time because this is what was coming out. So
Right.
yeah, there's no judging here. I mean, I just enjoy it for its awfulness, and there's just so much to laugh at, but it's not mocking. It's just like there's an exuberance to it. Like, okay, this is just
Right.
right.
So now you enter Elliot and his group of friends, and they get there because there's all these women in Neilbog and whatever, and one of the best characters, and I can't remember his name, but the glasses kid,
The
which
glasses
was
kid?
the second favorite scene is coming up here, but he goes
Okay.
outside to have a smoke because he's pissed off because they're all watching some kind of dumb show, which I don't know how in the hell they even. There's nothing in Nilbog, so somehow though they're still receiving reception for TV back when TV had the antenna, I guess. Clear and real clear too. I don't know. I don't remember what they were watching. Some kind of other movie that I'm sure was made up for the film, which looked equally as fantastic. But he goes outside to smoke, and then that hot lady's running through the woods and she's screaming, and
Oh,
she
right.
says something to him about are you one of them or are you a monster? And his line was, "I'm very human. Wanna see?" That's that. So I guess that he was implying that like you want to get fresh, and I guess you can see how human I am, implying that monsters can't reproduce the same means as humans. But what a great line! Like
it would have
she's
been
clearly
green.
just-
I mean, the money shot would have been, green.
I suppose, yeah. So you know, that's how, you know, he sees that she's clearly distraught and looks like she's been battered, and that's the
Sure.
first thing that crosses his mind is, I'm very human. Want to see? Good line. What a great line. Then here we go. Okay, so this is the second favorite scene kind of that happens in the film, is when that dude, they run up to that what is clearly not a house. It looks more like a church, you know. And
Right.
they're like, "Oh, let's hide in this house." All
House
right,
of
so
God.
number one, who's just running up to a house being like, "Let's hide in here"?
Right.
Have you ever just run up to your like random house and decided, "Hey man, I came in because I'm hiding"? So now you're trespassing, you're breaking and entering essentially. They get in that house and it's all weird, and enter, you know, Deb Reed. So you've got she's like, "This is my house." She carries that S.
Yeah.
And you know, like, that's my favorite thing is she's a druid with a Russian accent. What's happening here? She's all like Stonehenge, coming from not Russia, with clearly like a Russian accent. That's clearly, that accent is very like someone trying to have, you know, Black Widow's accent is what we're going
Yes.
for here. Maybe she was a Black Widow. I
Black
don't
Widow
know.
would have been awesome to bring in here.
But yeah, so you know, then you've got I mean, I'm pretty sure that I skipped it just because it's so obvious, but I'm pretty sure that's the, you know, fly on the face. Oh my God. Like for like one whole minute.
Right.
That's a glorious scene.
Yeah.
Only slightly ousted by "You Can't Piss on Hospitality." So then, second dance montage. Now, what's best about this dance montage is that it starts with her doing the fingers glasses over the
Sure.
eyes.
Yeah.
Did
Who
you
does-
know
Who
that?
doesn't do that in the mirror?
Well, yeah. Also, not only that, but that action burns several hundred calories. So you know, you want to stay, you know, slim. Stay hydrated with Hydro Flask and do finger glasses on
Well,
your eyes.
Now I know what I'm doing. I'm going to do it multiple times a day. If that burns hundreds of calories, I'm doing it.
Drink lots of water and put your finger glasses on your face in the mirror. So the second that like, and it's like, it's an exercise montage, but it's more like a dance. You know, she's like doing like
Sure.
aerobics, I guess, and
Right.
but that's part of the aerobics.
Dancer sides.
Yeah, dancer.
She's a maniac on the dance floor.
Yeah,
She's
definitely.
dancing like she's never seen a goblin before.
Yeah. Yes. Very much so. And yeah, I do love that. You know, she makes Elliot decide it's me or the boys. What a great line! It's me
Right.
or the boys. The
Hmm.
boys.
Yeah.
They're back in town though. They're back in town.
Right. We're gonna go to get an RV. We're gonna follow you here without telling your parents.
Nothing
just
weird
gonna-
about that.
We're just gonna track
We're-
you down and then hang out with you when they're not looking. Yeah, come on over to my RV with my homeboys are over here. We're gonna be enjoying hanging out and looking for cute chicks in this town we don't know.
Yeah,
and,
we're just
drinking
parked on the
beer.
side of the road too. There's no like, that's not a campground. They just pulled off the
Right,
road
just
and was
right,
like,
right over. Yeah.
"This is good. This is
Are you
a
gonna
good
bring up
spot."
the sheriff?
Gene Freak, you fucking bet I am. Gene Freak. That's that dude's name in the show. He
Yeah.
picks the kid up.
Right.
asks him
That's
if he's
that's a
hungry.
fantastic scene.
He gives him that gross like.
Sandwich with
I
the-
mean,
See, that's what I want to find out. Like, what the hell what did they use to make that green like sandwich, like that
I'll bet,
spread? Was
dude.
it, like,
You know what? I'll bet it was. I'll bet it was like egg salad with green food coloring.
could be egg salad or like marshmallow fluff
Marshmallow-
or
What
you
a
know,
terrible
or
sandwich.
whipped cream or something like
Could have
that.
given him a sandwich that was just relish, you know, like just put relish on there. It's green.
Yeah, no, whipped cream maybe with some green food coloring. You know, I can
So
see all that stuff. So
now, you know, in this, I feel like this scene has been talked about too. So, you know, he's taking the kid into town. And that to me, I don't think there's anything odd about that. I like that, you know, like, oh, you know, now that we're in the future, cops wouldn't give somebody a ride into town. They'd arrest them and beat them or something, you know? So it's like, it's nice to see like the good old times where,
sure.
you know, cops just would be nice. Now, obviously,
Well, he's
he was
just getting
planning on-
takeout.
He was gonna, yeah, he was gonna eat them. So
He's picking up
but then,
takeout.
you know,
That's all. That's really what it is.
the kid says, "I'm going into town," and he's like, you know, we'll hop in, gives him the sandwich. And as the kid exits the car, he says, you know, can you tell me where all the girls are? And the door shuts and you just hear him go, girls. That's a good one. You can like hear it from outside of the car. There's no mic in the car, so it's like it's real muffled and super awkward. But Gene Freak, what a great. I mean, who the hell's not using that as a stage name? You know?
Right. Yeah.
That's a
Gene
great
Freak.
stage name.
That's gotta
Somebody
be a
needs to
movie in
use
there
it.
somewhere too. That's gotta be a movie. Someone's,
Standalone about the sheriff, Gene Freak,
well, just
the
something
goblin, the
like,
goblin sheriff.
yeah. This is a concept album, right? I mean, Volcana's got to do a
What,
concept album,
Troll
right?
2?
Or Liquor
Troll
Quick,
2.
maybe.
No,
Black
man.
Fang.
I don't think I can do it. I
man,
definitely I mean, I did write now here we go. Neil Bogg Shopkeep, the drugstore owner. So the kid goes into that place. All they got's that rancid milk that's been relabeled.
Right. It's on the shower or on the shelves.
It's just on the shelf. You ever had like room temperature milk, shelf milk? Now, dude, this is great. Honestly, this scene murders me. I don't know. Maybe it is my favorite scene, to be honest. Maybe it does topple the other two of my favorite scenes, but that dude, Don Packard, man, the kid says, do you have any coffee? He goes, coffee? Are you crazy, child? Or he says, like, are you crazy, kid? Coffee, that's the devil's drink. He's so intense about coffee being the devil's drink. That's what the Volcana song's about. And, and then, if the coffee being the devil's drink wasn't intense enough, the kid goes, eggs? And he goes, eggs. And the retch that he does is so violent. I mean, it's so fast. He doubles over and he makes that sound and you're like, oh my, this is intense. And he's like, have some Neil Bogg milk, not vitamin content or whatever. I mean, the dude's just off his rocker, man. And it's like, wow, man. Like, so it's hilarious, but also like kind of like disturbing at the same time. And then again, if you watch the documentary, you learn, oh, he's actually like a disturbed individual. And he clearly tapped that for the role. So, I mean, like,
he was already there, man.
Yeah.
Right.
Like what great character acting. I mean, you're utilizing that character is honestly one of my favorite. He's probably my second favorite in the film. Like I said, next to, the Goblin Queen, but he just looks scary. He just looks,
he looks like he should be in an H.G. Lewis movie. And he would be like in 2001 Maniacs. He's like one of those townspeople.
Right.
Yeah,
right.
He has that kind of
nailed
wild
it.
look. Yeah, he has a look that's very bulbous, and kind of crazy. So it works.
And you
well.
can, and here's the thing, he definitely sells that character better than anyone sells their character in the film. Now, probably because, like I said, like he was off his rocker. So, because that guy, what a great. He kind of sounds like a crazier like Jerry from the Three Stooges.
Jerry.
Isn't that his name? Wasn't it Jerry, Curly, and Larry? There we go.
Jerry. what? Are you watching like a discount Three Stooges?
Yeah, I get my
This
Three
is
Stooges
Jerry
from Dollar General.
Jerry and
Jerry,
Shirley
Harry,
and
yeah.
Smoke. Come here,
so
Shirley.
Larry. He kind of sounds like Larry, like a crazier Larry or Jerry, whichever, depending on what station you're watching them. You get Did you? I got my Three Stooges from Wish. So
hey, Bo.
Oh yeah,
go see Jerry.
Yeah. What a great character, man. What a great character, man. Yeah. He's just he's very intense.
Sure.
And again, like that guy sells it. Even in all of his other scenes in the movie, like when they're just I'll just fast forward for 1 second, when they're like in the Goblin Church, and he's sitting there and he's kind of like moving around and it's like, ooh, like that guy's creepier than the rest of them, And then this is when Joshua sees the Neil Bogg sign in the mirror. Neil Bogg is goblin spelled backwards. What an earth-shattering moment.
I never saw that one coming.
Man, your audio went. You blew so hard that your audio. Oh, you were muted.
I'm muted. I'm trying to be cool. I could turn off the camera too, but
You should just blow your nose with the audio on and get that cool nose blowing sound. This is a nose blowing episode.
That's right. Yeah, we're blowing everything. Neil Bogg, blowing our noses. But we're staying hydrated thanks to Hydro Flask.
Yeah, that's right. So he feels, he sees that, then he decides he's going to skateboard all over the town while they wait for that store to open up, because I don't know, they're having their sermon,
Well, let's
they got
talk
the
about
signs
the
up.
preacher.
Yeah, so I want to note that the preacher could have been in like 1990s Black Sabbath. He could have fit right in as, second guitar player, or, he kind of had that Tony Iommi vibe from the era.
But I don't know if you notice how much he shares similar features to Dreadpool. You put 30 pounds on Dreadpool, he could play the preacher. I mean, if you look at it,
little longer hair.
well, I mean, Dreadpool used to have a mullet back in the day. If I can find that picture,
he should bring it back.
He should bring. I told him he needs to bring it back. But he looks like the preacher. That's because Chop Top and I were watching this last weekend, and we started laughing because I made a joke like, "Hey, look, it's Dreadpool," and we're like, "Oh my god!" And once I saw it, I'm like, "Oh, it really kind of does look."
Now,
yeah, I can't unsee it. I'm like, "Fuck." That's why I told him. I said, Dread, man, you gotta watch this with us because you're in the movie. And he started laughing. I'm like, no, but we can't.
So I don't
anymore.
Yeah,
yeah, I know.
What a wimp.
What is this?
I guess he doesn't listen to enough Manowar. Wimps and posers leave the hall.
I don't
He needs to
know.
leave.
I don't know his problem. Well,
I don't know
we don't
his
have
problem.
enough time to do it. Well, we got a whole other episode about problems with Dreadpool.
Yeah. So I don't understand like the point of this like goblin sermon. It really throws me off that like it's not like a worship thing, but they're just talking about food. And one of my favorite lines from the whole thing is sausages. He says sausages. Like goblins really love to hang on to their S's, not only because of sausages, but because we have an affinity for sausages on the program.
Right. Well,
But,
here's the right.
Sold by the side of the road. Sold by the side of the road.
Sausages sold by the side of the road. Nilbog.
You ever had roadside sausage?
I don't. I've had roadside beef sticks. Jerky and things like that. But generally, I try to avoid buying meat by the side of the road. Generally. But I often wonder, like, why are these townspeople gathered? Because they all know what they're doing. They don't need to gather around and talk about food. I mean,
if they were worshiping at the Rock,
that would be one thing. They're all gathered around the Stonehenge thing. Spoiler alert. They're all gathered around Stonehenge. That would be great. And
they're just having a church about why you shouldn't eat meat.
If they could have brought in subtlety, the intro music from Spinal Tap here, the Stonehenge, just those first couple of notes. Dun, 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 I would have about pissed my pants. I'm like, oh yes. Yes.
They should have played on that. There was a way around that.
Yeah.
But,
I was kept on waiting for like when when the Goblin Girl, when Deborah like reaches her hand in, and I was thinking like she's gonna put her dick in Stonehenge. It's like yeah, someone's gonna make love to Stonehenge tonight. Exactly.
It regrew her arm, man. That was
I know.
fantastic.
I'm like, what? That's what I was thinking. Like,
but the reason, did you know you shouldn't eat meat because it'll give you a smelly bladders. Smelly bladders was one of the complaints with the sermon. Clusters of hemorrhoids. Clusters of hemorrhoids. And the worst offense? Stinky dishes.
Wow, you know so many details about this.
Yeah, man, smelly bladders, clusters of so if you eat meat, you're gonna have a smelly bladder.
If you don't eat your meat, you can't have your pudding.
So yeah, well, that's a high price to pay if you want smelly bladders, clusters of hemorrhoids, and stinky dishes. Stinky dishes.
Stinky dish. Well, yeah, a little bit of water, I'll take care of that pretty quickly. But
yeah, you could. Did you know you can do dishes? You can clean them so they don't stink.
That is amazing.
Not in Nilbog.
Not in Nilbog. You think everyone's looking up the stuff. Well, they're
so Joshua's watching this go down from the rafters, and this is a great scene because then the pastor's just bam, just face palms him, just grabs him by the face in that hole. Doesn't see that guy coming.
No,
doesn't see him coming.
Right.
Just bam. It is a great scene though. That's a quintessential horror scene. Yeah.
There's so many quintessential scenes in this movie. It's just yes.
Dude shows up at the house, the witch house, and he finds his plant friend. He rips that piece of bark off of his face, and he's got to drag his plant friend out by the pot.
That was fantastic. Like, no, you're gonna drag me out. He's like
dude's
trying
getting
to
pissed
like,
off.
push him. Like he's just jerking on the pot. Like, oh yeah,
I don't
fat
feel
fuck.
good.
I can't. I'm trying to drag
Dude's
your
getting
ass
mad.
out of here. You know,
Dude's getting real mad about it too. Hurry up before the lady comes
the
home.
thing he should have done was lean him to his side, and he could have just wheeled him out.
He could have
Whenever,
just pulled
whenever
him
you
from
buy
like
a
his
tree,
top.
you buy a tree, you lean it to the side, and you kind of use the plotter as a wheel, man.
Yeah,
Come
right.
on, simple fucking, it's tools.
I mean,
it's
yeah,
physics.
yeah. So what's going to happen is you're going to shatter the pot on the steps, but who cares? I mean, I don't know what the point is, dude. I'm sorry. You're a half a tree.
What are you
There's
gonna
no way
do?
to there's no way to reverse this, man.
Right.
So what do you
are
want
we
me to
gonna-
take you out of here
Yes.
for? Like, you're not going
What-
to live your life, normal life
Yeah.
in society as half
What do you-
tree, half man.
Yeah, what do you just and he's still holding on to that coffee cup,
Dude, I love that mug. I would love to find one of those. I really, really have a penchant for like mugs, and it's such a great
really. See,
it's such a great mug. A certain kind of mugs. I like the
Midnight
vintage,
Gadfly
you know.
from Unsane Radio. I might have mentioned this before. There's this other
Uh-huh.
podcast, Unsane Radio. Well, Midnight Gadfly has a die-sub printer, and he's doing some mugs for us. Heavy metal horror mugs.
They gotta look like they're from the 70s and 80s though.
But they're
or I
gonna
don't
have
want
the
one.
logo. They're gonna have the logo on it, and I want to get one for everybody so that we all have them. And I'd love to be able to get them to our guests, like when they come on. But like if Deborah Reed ever came on, I'd want to send her a mug.
Right.
Right.
Or a hydro flask. An orange one. Goblin orange. Axe
Yeah,
slash
now
and
look,
Grandpa Seth. This
I'm
is where we
eating-
are.
See, talking about
Yeah, so
goblin
you're
food.
clearly a goblin. You've already been
Right.
one
the
the whole
this is
time.
pumpkin
Can't tell.
seeds.
They can make themselves look like all kinds of things, according to Grandpa Seth, who is an axe slashing maniac and master of Molotov cocktails. So we're to where Grandpa Seth is now helping Joshua try to.
Right. He's showing
try
up from the nether realm.
And
Makes
this
a,
is how he
a
battles them.
physical manifestation of himself. Again,
This is how he he battles them with here, 10-year-old boy, hurl this Molotov cocktail into that room. Grandpa Seth is a badass grandpa. And also, shocker, spoiler alert, he's also clearly Thor, God of Thunder. Do you recall that the pastor comes out and stops the whole thing, and Grandpa can summon lightning and strikes the pastor?
Oh.
Yeah, he's Thor.
Oh, that's
Grandpa
cool.
Seth is Thor. Not the most attractive Thor, with his not looking very attractive. I always think of Thor as, the blonde, buff,
Right.
sexy man. Grandpa Seth's really
He's not
very
that.
Yeah. He's not a So now we're coming up onto one of your favorite scenes. This is when Meth Witch, I call her Meth Witch because she's got them teeth. Meth Witch to Mistress.
Yeah. She gets super
She's-
sexy.
She becomes a babe. And if
Yeah.
you didn't know, Magic Rock indeed is my note. Magic Rock indeed. There is nothing sexier than a single cob of corn. You want to spice up your love life? Bring some sweet corn to the bedroom to munch on with your lover.
Like, what are you gonna do with that corn cob?
That's the kind of obvious thing. Because I mean, look, there's no way around it. Corn's pretty phallic. Is that the word? Phallus like.
Phallic, right? Right.
So,
Phallus. It is. It is.
It's kind of.
Yes.
But then they munch on it and summon popcorn from.
Together. Right.
He says, I do love popcorn.
Something's popping in my pants. My pants are turning into Jiffy Pop popcorn. Oh,
I mean, there's a lot of popcorn.
comes the
that's
butter.
happening.
right,
So hot. So
extra
hot.
butter. Yeah.
So hot that it is buttered popcorn too. If you notice, it's buttered pie. It's not just
I'm
popcorn. It's
thinking
buttered.
that scene was that could have gone on for another 15 or 20 seconds. Just popping everywhere. But
Just
just the
munching
scene of
on
them,
that corn
the
together,
scene
just
of them
making
munching
out
on
with the
that-
corn, munching on the corn,
eating the corn
popcorn.
together was just so wrong in so
They
many
didn't even
ways.
need. They didn't even need the popcorn. I'm pretty
No,
sure that the single
could've-
corn cob was
they could
was
have just
sufficient enough.
they
to
could have just
carry
eaten that.
the
They could have
weight.
eaten that on that and just like nibbled on that, and then just like took turns like just licking it like with between their mouths, just like
Yeah. I mean, there was tongue. She was.
Oh, she
tonguing
was
that
going to
corn.
town.
She was
And-
munching it, tonguing it.
Yeah, totally.
He's-
And if I were in that movie, I would have done the same thing. It's like,
Oh, what
come
a
on.
glorious
Yeah, like if you are
scene.
in that scene and this is your scene, like, okay, you're gonna make out with the meth witch and you're gonna be nibbling on this corn, and you're gonna be like, then everything's gonna turn to popcorn. Like you are gonna put yourself 110% in it. You know,
Right.
it would have been like Jim Carrey kissing in Dumb and Dumber, kind of like with all that
Right.
tongue. I would have been tongues galore. That would have been my James Bond name if I were a James Bond girl, tongues
Oh,
galore.
absolutely.
And I would have been like just mound on that corn with that chick. Like, yeah, we're gonna
Yeah.
get tongue on this corn today, and you're gonna get a lot of tongue, and I'm gonna get a lot of tongue.
Well, the best part is she is an attractive woman
Yeah.
when she's not looking like a meth witch. So
I
that was good. I think
I couldn't tell which way I liked her better. Honestly, there was some times where I thought she looked pretty good as a meth witch. Like, yeah, you look kind of a.
those, I like those crusty white lips you got going on
Yeah,
there.
well, I mean, she got a little nastier as she went, but there was something about her. I think it might have been her exuberant performance that was so over the top. Like, okay, that's turning me on.
Right.
Okay, that's okay. I got a boner now.
I'll drink your chloroform, babe.
Yeah, right. What part of me do you want to turn to wood? Let's go.
Not chloroform. That's the not
Chlorophyll.
There we go. I get my drugs and plant stuff mixed up. I
Right.
failed science.
Yeah.
So now, okay, so here we go. Grandpa Seth's back in the picture, right? He's back, and again, there's just an awkward Grandpa Seth smile. I have it written down as Grandpa Seth smile 2.0. It's even more awkward than the first one. Real, just big and out of nowhere. He says something, Joshua says something to him, and it's just burnt. It's all like weird, and you're just like, oh my gosh, what a bizarre. Some people can like smile real weird, and it doesn't seem natural. Grandpa Seth is one of those folks. But yeah, we're nearing the end of the film here, and so Joshua shows up in the meth witch Queen Goblin house, and what does he do to shut down the army of goblins and the Goblin Queen? Double-decker bologna sandwich.
Oh, right. And I was like, what the hell? Because now that you mentioned about the whole meat thing, I get it now. They can't eat this kid because he's full of bologna, and it wasn't just a double decker. That kid had
Full of bologna.
that thing had a fucking pound of bologna, between two pieces of bread. It reminded me of a time I was with some friends. I was with Dreadbull, some other friends. He lived out in Nova, and we went to the store. We were doing some gaming all weekend, and we wanted to get some bologna sandwiches. And so there were, I think, three or four of us, I think. And the lady asked, how thin would we like this slice? I said, as thick as possible. I said, there are three of us. We want 3 slices, a pound. And so I heard her go, throw it on 57 or something like that. And like, seriously, we all got these like 1/4-inch piece slabs of bologna. And
let me ask you this though. How was it?
Well, you got to fry it. Well, if you fry it, it's delicious.
Oh shit, you fried it. Okay.
Yeah.
You were
that's the thing. No, we were making the sandwiches, but frying it, that's the thing. I don't know if I could have eaten a 1/4-inch of bologna as it just cold from the deli. Frying it transforms it into something magical, something Nilboggian.
Nilboggian.
Right. But yeah, so it was all right. That's
double-decker bologna sandwich, and it stops them, man. They're
like reeking in horror. Every bite he takes, they're going back like, oh my god.
He only eats like 2 bites of it, maybe because there is like a pound of it on the sandwich.
The thing is, like, okay, they can't eat the kid now, right? Obviously, because he's got bologna in him. But tomorrow, I mean,
yeah, the kid's gonna take a shit eventually. So
exactly, it's gonna come out of him tomorrow. It's like, look, we got 3 other people to eat. We can wait for this one for a day or two.
Eat the weird pastries with the weird stuff.
Right. It's all the big party.
So yeah,
the big plate of all the uncomfortable dancing and the singing. It's like going to a family reunion,
Right.
And
they made us a feast of sweets.
Yeah, and everything looks.
You haven't eaten for like a
gross.
day and a half, and all you're gonna do is eat. Like, you're excited about eating cakes and cookies. I mean, I get that you're probably hungry, but I mean, damn, I don't think that if I hadn't eaten for a day, the first thing I'd be going for would not be a slice of cake. I'd want something like a little more filling and with a little more sustenance than just sugar. And that's what they were. That's apparently only goblins can only make like sweets, and everything looks like a sweet.
Let me start with.
It's like that ice cream that they made for them that they were trying to force feed them wasn't green.
Yeah,
but
let me let me start with
nice
the
and
double
creamy.
decker bologna sandwich, and then I'll move on to the cake. You know?
Yeah, yeah, that sounded pretty good. So I mean, they defeat him with the kindness of their hearts by touching the magic stone. We don't actually see what happens to the villains. We see a couple eyes from the goblins. I love the eyes blowing out, like a single eye.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
Blow out, and the chlorophyll shoots out of everything's got to be chlorophyll, and people falling off the upstairs, the banister, and just kind of looking rough. But we have to assume they're all dead. But are they? We don't know.
We don't know.
We don't know. We don't know yet. So then we go home, and here's my biggest disappointment in the whole film. Joshua's a big DC fan. Got
What's
the
he-
Batman and Superman hanging up in his
Oh.
room.
And he likes the Montreal Expos.
Are they a team anymore?
No.
They
No, they weren't. They were in 1990.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm just bringing. You forget about teams like that.
Yeah.
That's why I forgot that they were even a team. Joshua, come on.
Right. He
Loving
has
the
because he
DC.
has.
I mean, he's got the
a
19.
Killing Joke Joker poster. I think it's like that Joker where he's like, doesn't he have a poster of a Joker in his room?
He might. So I
like
noticed some
that?
stuff on the walls in the initial bedroom scene earlier in the
Okay.
film. I couldn't make out what they were, but then I noticed, when he comes back home,
Yeah.
and of course the classic ending of the film, mom gets eaten,
Right,
because
yeah, and then-
surprise,
and
that
then-
other
yeah, then-
family's still there,
But then we get to see mom as a naked person,
a naked Jello cake.
naked Jello cake. I'm like,
She should have
okay.
been eaten earlier on. What an annoying mom she
well,
is.
like
Can't remember.
mom's got a nice
row
rack.
your
Look
boat.
at this. I mean,
and this
they
is my
made her
point.
look
This is
so
what I'm
much
saying.
nicer when she was a Jello mold. Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
This is why I think
How
she
you-
she
how you
deserved to get
doing?
eaten.
How you doing?
She deserved to get eaten because she didn't even fucking wash that apple off. She gets it right out of the fridge and just eats it. Who the hell doesn't wash off their fruits and vegetables? That's what you get for not washing off your fruits and vegetables
I just
before
rub
you eat
them on
them.
my shirt. Like,
Dude, you're gonna turn into a Jello mold
like
with
I
tits.
stepped, like I stepped off a, like I'm in a 1940s movie. I'm just,
Yeah.
I'm like, hey there, mister, you want to come see the rake fights? And I'm
While you're wearing your burlap sack
exactly
from the empty
Right.
pinto bean sack.
Yeah, but I've got some overalls, too. So, I know
You're dusty,
I know how to
covered in
rock it.
dust.
I'm chewing on a leaf of grass, or even
Yeah,
better,
some
like a
kinda-
wheat, like a wheat.
A wheat shoot.
Yeah,
Yep.
and I'm chewing the fat with the guys sitting around.
A whole
Loafing.
bowl of apples. She brings that
Loafing.
whole bowl. She doesn't just grab an apple.
No,
She grabs a whole damn bowl to bring it out and then just digs in. And guess what? Those were Neilbog apples.
God damn it.
Man.
So this movie is really, it's anti-meat, it's anti-vegetables.
It really is.
It just says, look, you better eat your sweets or you're going to turn into a treat yourself.
Yeah. Eat.
That's the lesson. That's the takeaway.
Actually, the lesson seems to be anti-vegetable. I feel like it's telling you eat fucking meat or else
Or you
you're
will.
going to get eaten by a goblin.
Well, that's true. Maybe it's saying it's like it's taking up the mantle after Willy Wonka, like how bad sweets can be and treats are bad. Like, you don't have Oompa Loompas,
Right.
but the goblins are the Oompa Loompas in this
Right.
in this thing. I wonder if anyone's ever done a paper comparing Troll 2 and Willy Wonka. Now, I
Nope.
did write a paper about Willy Wonka when I was in grad school.
I think that
So,
this is your new calling.
might be. You want to know what my paper was about?
I thought you said it was about Willy Wonka.
Yeah, but do you know what about Willy Wonka? It wasn't just
No,
about
I
Willy
don't.
Wonka.
Yes, tell me.
I was taking a popular culture of sex class, and so I did a Freudian interpretation of Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. So the paper is
Oh.
called Oompa Loompa Love, Sexual Imagery and Innuendo in Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory.
Ooh.
Yeah, I got an A in it. I mean, when you watch it in that lens, and that started off as a joke. A bunch of friends and I were watching Willy Wonka one night. We were drinking, and I started making jokes about, like, when the Wonkas come out, there's this scene where, like, one does a somersault, and like the other Wonka or the Oompa Loompa, like,
Yeah.
grabs him by the legs and looks down at his crotch. I'm like, wait a minute, what do these Oompa Loompas do for sex when Willy Wonka's gone and the chocolate factory's down? I'm like, I bet they make chocolate girls, I'm like,
Ooh.
because they all look the same. And I started, like, thinking, like, then it just became this joke, like everything became sexualized. Like
Right.
was it Violet Beauregard, who's like she's been chewing on the same piece of gum for like what 7 years or something, because
Right.
that shows her sexual repression. She's not actually eating it. She's just
Right.
chewing it. She's not swallowing it and consummating the act. But then she gets that gum that again simulates a full course meal. And do you remember
Right.
what the first thing is in that?
I only remember there was like a turkey dinner. That's
Well,
right. Was it?
It's
I don't remember what the first like the appetizer
it's
was.
tomato soup. It's hot and creamy, and I can feel it going down my throat. That's what
She says that? That's her
Yeah.
line? Oh, goodness gracious.
Yeah, then she turns into a blueberry. So like, okay, the first time she actually eats this gum, she gets pregnant. Then she turns into a blueberry. So like, okay, then she has to go to the
Oh,
chocolate
goodness.
factory abortion room to get squeezed.
Oh, goodness.
I got it all. How about the everlasting gobstopper? You can suck it and never get smaller. Come on, man. Right.
Well, then I'm waiting for the great glass elevator
Well,
comparison.
the Wonkavator. I mean, because there's so many other ones. I mean, Augustus Gloop is just.
Well, you got the whole sequel. I mean, it's not a film, but it's a book.
I
You got to
can-
read this.
I can do all of it. All the kids have their own sexual hangups. There's so much castration imagery. It's not even funny. I mean, the scene where they're going in the tunnel, you get the paddle boat, this S&M kind of thing. Then they're going into a tunnel. I mean, come on, it's fucking into a tunnel. And then you have this imagery of this chicken, this cock, getting its head cut off. I mean, come on, whenever it's all scary. Like, yeah, you go inside the tunnel and things get scary, of course.
Things get scary.
Oh yeah. I
So
mean,
it's a good, So
Anyway.
bring it back, bring it full circle here.
bring it back.
Troll 2 is a fantastic film, loaded with a lot of hilarities that may or may not have been intended. I think,
But they're there now, and that's what's important.
Right, and it's a solid movie. Like, in all honesty,
You
it's
say it's a salad movie?
fun.
Like eat a salad while watching.
Yes,
Is that a salad
it's
movie?
a salad movie.
Turn into your
Yes.
vegetables.
It's great. It's a great film. It's fun for the whole family, I think.
Yes.
It's pretty safe. There's not too many.
Not too much swearing. I mean, it's intense for little
Yeah.
kids. Those goblins are creepy. And then the people melting. I mean, there's some kooky stuff that
Yeah,
happens.
yeah, kind of the thing,
A
So I don't know.
little bit of sexuality with the meth witch. And
Some deep stuff that you're gonna see anyways
I mean,
in modern stuff. So
like Mike TV
like
says,
deep stuff as in like not easily discerned things for children.
No,
Like children wouldn't pick up on a lot of that stuff.
No, but I think it's a little. I mean, I wouldn't show it to children myself, but that's just my own taste. But if I'm going to show a movie to kids, it's going to be The Exorcist. Let them be scarred like I was scarred.
Let's just scar them for life.
Yeah, I mean, if I'm relatively okay after being scarred when I saw it when I was 10 years old. So why not? Yeah, no, Troll 2 is great. It is a great awful movie that succeeds on so many levels. It succeeds as much as it fails, but it's really entertaining. It's an enjoyable watch. It's not always good, but there's a lot of dialogue. It tells a story. It doesn't always make sense. But what in horror does? I mean, horror taps into our nightmares realms. That's why the difference between science fiction and horror. Science fiction has to make sense. Horror, because it's irrational, because it is really about our nightmares and fears.
Right.
And so it lives up to all that. There are some really good performances, really bad performances, great over the top dialogue, and Deborah Reed is fantastic. She gets my #1 vote for acting. Her performance as the Leonora, the witch is great. Fantastic. Maybe my favorite like sex scene out of any movie in the world.
And I mean, what happens to that kid? Like, what the hell happens to him? He's not dead because he says no more popcorn, please.
Right, and that's it. And we don't ever see him again. It's like, oh yeah,
it's like, so I mean, doesn't Elliot? I mean, where did Elliot get the camper? Did they rent it? Is it a parent? Like,
I don't know.
They just don't have to account for those missing kids either.
Yeah, it's like, no,
a couple of them did die.
Right. And whatever. What about the kid who was turned into a tree? Did we ever find out like something happened to him or what?
She chopped him off of his base.
Oh,
and
that's right. She had the chainsaw. That's right. Yeah, yeah, that's right. I
I
forgot
said it's gonna
about that.
tickle a little, and he giggles while it's
Yeah, that's
going
right.
down.
Yes. He's giggling about the chainsaw. Right.
It's gonna tickle a little. That's a great
That's
horror line film that should have been used in some other later films. Like it's gonna tickle as he's chopping up somebody with a chainsaw. Come on,
that's
Leatherface.
that's
Who-
awesome.
who-
It's gonna tickle.
it's a great movie. Again, and if you're gonna watch it, if you do dedicate the time to watching the film, be sure to watch the doc as well, because even if you don't like the movie, I think the doc sheds some light on some of the stuff, and
Oh, definitely.
anything that anything that you may be like, well, this was dumb. Well, watch the doc, because I mean, I guess if you don't like documentaries, you won't watch it. But
But
I
it's
mean,
so fascinating to very rarely do you get an insight into a movie like this. You get
Right.
documentaries about making like important movies. I'll put that in quotes, important movies. But you almost never get a documentary about what happens to a movie that has all this heart and this cult following. And
Mhm.
and going back and revisit it, like once it gets really popular, like, oh, these people watch this at midnight movies, like, oh, that's kind of crazy. And then pulling George Hardy into it, which is, that I think is one of the most charming aspects of it, and kind of ultimately heartbreaking, is that he's just kind of pulled into this, like, because he just seems like such a nice guy, and everyone's just saying how
Right.
nice he is. And he's a dentist. He just doesn't, doing his life, and then acting in this movie, and it became kind of pulled into this convention circuit and convention world, and like, unbeknownst to him, this whole like whirlwind tour, this fame and his 15 minutes of fame kind of thing.
Mhm.
And so I think it's kind of great. I mean, I that people can say I did this, and I think that's, as an indie filmmaker, a movie maker, I'd love that sense of completion, and being able to share that with the cast members, saying, look, we did this, we made a movie, and having
Right.
them watch it for the first time all together. That's my favorite part about all the making movies, is like the cast party, because everyone's done their own part, but they've never seen it all put together with the music,
Right.
sound effects, things like that. But when we all watch it and like everyone's laughing, like that's the payoff. And so kudos for everyone, all the cast members, all the extras, the people who played the goblins. I mean, kudos to everybody who was involved in this movie, because look, you made a movie, people like it, it's out
Right.
there, and there's everything to be proud of, and for people who just want to sit back and say, oh, it's all shit, like, who cares? If that's the case, then so be it. But then, tell you what, why don't you go do something, make it better, go make a better
Yeah.
movie, you know and I've always had that attitude with Cyclops, is like, I'm not here to compete. Like, no one can make a movie for like me, like I can, for $135. I just know it's not going to happen.
Right.
Hollywood's not going to touch it. I mean, the latte bill on day one of shooting the Avengers was probably $1,000, way more than my movies ever cost.
Right.
We Thor wants another latte, so um, so that's not even that. But the fact is, it's a movie. We're having fun, and we've made it. And look, we've done this thing. We've made this movie, like it or not. We had a good time shooting it. We have a good time watching
Right.
it. So I like to celebrate it, and I think there's room for everybody. You fly that flag, you see who salutes it, you have a good time. I mean, my God, we can't take it seriously. None of this shit. We can't take it seriously. So
Right.
let's just have fun with it.
Yeah. No, they accomplished it, and again, I probably was a better payoff for them 20 years later, 30 years later,
Yeah,
versus, when it came out, because again, I know going into this, I think, I think it's covered in the doc that a lot of them thought this was their stepping stone to bigger things, and
could
it
be.
totally,
It
totally
didn't. It
bottomed
didn't. It
out,
didn't pan out.
so
But they had a 20th anniversary. That's the version that I have. Is the
yeah,
20th
I need to get
anniversary.
that. I need to get that.
Yeah.
But yeah, great movie.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
I think you wanted to talk about current horror.
I
I don't
think
know.
we're
Is
good,
that
man. I mean, we talked for 90 minutes. This is plenty.
yeah, yeah.
I didn't think we'd talk this
So
long about it, but you came prepared with like pages of notes, and I was
yeah,
just happy to listen to you and just go on and on about it, because this is fantastic. So this is a side of you that I was really happy and delighted to be a part of.
yeah.
And I'm glad
Right.
we got to do this. You know, I honestly didn't know that you. I mean, I know you said your favorite movie and that you liked it, but I didn't know you liked it like this. So
Yeah. I do love it. You know, I try to watch it regularly if I can. You know, it's not. I'm not like a guy who's like, I'm bored right now, I'm gonna put in a film. I don't typically do that. You know, my new studio setup allows me to do a few things where I can, you know, sit down and try to create and also like watch a movie. I've got it rigged up to where, you know, I've got a VHS player and DVD player so I can throw stuff in, and some people do that like when they're creating. I've seen a lot of people do it. Just put something on the screen while they're working, even if they can't
Mhm.
hear it. And I've never been able to try that, you know, to see how that works out. So that's going to be, you know, mildly exciting and
Yeah,
probably help with future projects if I am doing something that's inspired by, you know,
sure.
a show. I can throw it on and kind of watch it as I'm
Mhm.
going and see what it drums up, you know.
Right.
But again, I don't, you know, I'm not someone who just sits around and a lot of people, that's what they do, you know. We're going to put a movie on tonight, you know. We're gonna try to, or it's Friday night. That's our shtick, you know. Me, I try to watch, you know, stuff that's coming out.
Mhm.
You know, sit down with the family and watch this or that, or watch a show or something. But and also, like, well, you know, I've got all the stuff set up, you know, all over. You can see all the stuff set up. The
Oh
one
yeah.
thing I don't have set up is our movie collection. It's still in
Okay.
boxes, so it's difficult to access stuff. Yeah, I did dig these out, you know, because I wanted to reference them, but
Yeah.
you know, so it makes it a little less accessible. But again, my point in that ramble was that, you know, it is one that I try to watch, you know, around Halloween if I can, if in the least I need to get the viewing in,
Yeah.
you know, around that time of year. So,
That's a great
but
Halloween movie. You know, if we're doing a whole month, we started
yeah,
doing like a
absolutely.
month of Halloween movies. Started last year, year before last rather. You know, and then every day we're watching something new or some kind of movie. You know, and no, I could totally see. And this is a movie I think best with friends. It's not a movie I would
Right.
ever want to sit down and watch by myself. I'm just not going to. But it's the experience of watching it with others, especially with people who've never seen it.
Right.
That's the real
Yeah.
joy in this movie because you know what's coming and hearing their reactions to it.
Right.
That's like you get to relive all those same emotions again. Like that's what makes it great, you know.
Yeah. It's terrific. And absolutely should have a place in everyone's 31 days of Halloween. You know, I've been
Yeah,
doing that since Sarah and I started doing that like around 2009, I think. I know we started doing it before people started regularly doing it. It was just
sure.
our, you know, I
That's
didn't
your thing, you
advertise
know.
it as, yeah, it was
Yeah.
like, we had the available, you know, it was just her and I. So it was like putting on a horror film every night wasn't as difficult as it is now. It's not as much of a challenge having kids, you know,
Yeah. How many
like
times have your
it's
kids seen this?
not yet. We were going to do it this year. I was going to do it this year and,
Yeah,
you know, things get in the way, you know,
sure.
so it's been difficult for us to pull off the 31 days of Halloween.
Right.
Because, you know, you put on a film that's, you know, incredibly violent and not at all for children. And, you know, you're
Yeah.
watching it. And when do they show up in the living room? You know, someone's getting beheaded with their tits out or something, you know, it's like, it's hard to, you know, nope,
Yeah.
nope, nope, you can't. Yeah, so we tend to save it if we kind of try to do it with whatever's streaming. Cause, you know, once we go to bed, we pull out a Kindle and we
Yeah.
can stream in there. Yeah. It's a little easier to not giant screen TV, you covered in blood and horrible imagery, you know.
Right.
So, but
Yeah. Everyone's sleeping in the bed that night. Right. Yeah.
yeah.
I'm
So,
not eating this. Don't give me any cake for my birthday. I don't want to turn into
yeah,
goblin food.
right. Right. We watched Ghostbusters Afterlife last night and that no nightmares because I mean it's not a scary film, but there is some like imagery that could be overstimulating, much like there was in all Ghostbusters films.
Yeah.
But you know, we survived. No, I can't sleep, I had a nightmare, none of that stuff. So that was
Right.
good, you know. But I can't wait for them to be of age to watch the amount of, you know, horror films that we have, you know, horrible ones, great ones, you know. So that's going to be I think it's going to be a lot of fun. But hopefully this year I think that we'll try to bust them in on this. And it's difficult, like you can't just send one to the other room, you know.
No.
We're
Right.
kind of waiting to introduce them at the same
That
time.
never works out. Someone's
Yeah,
going to
so
be
it's
getting
like
jealous.
Yeah,
You
so
know?
we're trying to just wait till like, okay, we feel like both of these ages are okay. So soon enough, I think this year's the year for Troll 2 to be
Excellent.
family viewed. But yeah,
Oh, that's cool. Oh, I should probably pull up our commercial so we can get out of here. I think I can wing it. I think I know it enough now to wing it. Hey, you've been listening to Heavy Metal Horror. You can find us at unsaneradio.com, listen to full episodes, or download to your device. If you're watching us on our YouTube page, Heavy Metal Horror Podcast, there's where you're at. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button, and if you know people who would like the show, tell them about us. So this has been, is that the last wing? I think that's the last thing, right? I think it's the,
did you cover all social medias and
oh,
whatnot?
no, I didn't. Yeah, thanks, man. Thanks. Thank you, Vic Wildcard Stone. You can find us on Facebook at Heavy Metal Horror Podcast, Instagram, Montag Lewis, one word, and you can email us at heavymetalhorror@yahoo.com. So this has been Montag, Master of Illusion.
Wild card,
And
master of wild.
and you've been watching and listening to Heavy Metal Nilbog.
Nilbog. I like that one. Heavy metal
Yeah.
Nilbog.
Right. Brought to you by Hydro Flask.
The flask that sees the moisture.
It's right. Seize the moisture. Moisten the day. Right. Yeah. Well, we'll see. Maybe we'll get a cease and desist order from them.
That's great publicity.
That'd be
so-
awesome. Yes. Small podcast gets yelled at by flask maker for talking about their flask on their show. That would be hysterical.
This is Doug Helvering, and you have been listening to Heavy Metal Horror, the best podcast that you've never heard before.